by Save Rural Seminole and the Black Hammock Association. I am Richard Creedon. I am the Vice President of the Geneva Citizens Association, and I am ably assisted by our technical elves, Dorothy Hardy, our President, and Nancy Harmon, our Secretary. We will be having another virtual candidates forum at the end of September or early October. We're trying to figure out the date when the general election mail ballots will be sent out, and we'd like to have it as near to that date as possible to give everyone a chance. That would include the candidates who have won their primaries, as well as any NPA candidates involved. And I think the only one that we probably have is Andre Klaas in District 5, if I'm not mistaken. But we can worry about that when the time comes. The order that will be followed for each question, and I will call the names, then I will mention the thing, and I'd ask you all to wave when we mention your name. The first one would be, in order would be Matt Morgan, Republican for District 1. Matt is not here yet. Ben Paris is Republican District 3. The next one would be Mike Clelland, District Democrat number 5. And then we have Pernell Bush, who is here, I believe, District number 5 Democrat. Pernell, if you'd wave to us, please.
Yes. Hello.
Thank you, sir. And then we have Lee Constantine, Republican District 3. Wave, Lee. And we have Bob Dallari, Republican District 5. The two incumbent commissioners have been given the courtesy of speaking last because of their seniority. We will ask each question. There are 3 questions to all candidates, and give 3 minutes for each answer, plus a 20-second grace period. The order of asking the questions will be the same as in the introductions above: Morgan, Paris, Clelland, Bush, Constantine, Dallari. At the end of the 3 minutes, I have a stopwatch here, and it will make a little sound that you will hear, and you'll know that then your time is up when you hear this. When that happens, you'll be given 20 seconds to finish up your statement. And at the end of the 20 seconds, the buzzer will go off again. And at that point, Dorothy will mute you, and we'll move on to the next candidate. So I don't think hopefully haven't forgotten any of the intro stuff. So the first question, and this will be to, I guess, Pernell, being that the other gentlemen aren't here yet.
Definitely.
What does the rural boundary mean to you? And do you promise to uphold the rigid development standards currently in place for all land within the rural boundary? If you disagree with the current requirements, what would you change? Pernell, please.
Definitely. So I will uphold and stand for the rural boundary. So the rural boundary means to me is our natural lands that we keep.
He should be unmuted.
Can you hear me? Hello?
We had to jump to him because the other ones before him weren't there yet.
Okay. Richard, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear him yet? I can't hear him.
Go ahead, Pernell.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I just want to make sure everyone else can hear me then. So the rural boundary I will uphold and stand for the rural boundary. You know, we created a charter in 2004. The charter was to ensure that we keep Seminole County a natural choice. So by limiting the development, and so that charter within itself ensure that we strengthen protection around the rural boundary. So for me, the rural boundary is what many people move to Seminole County for. They want a lifestyle where they can introduce their children to natural lifestyles, to natural lands, to animals. You know, so we want to ensure that those who choose Seminole County as home have an opportunity to continue to live the lifestyle they chose here. So I will protect it. I will uphold what the charter states. I believe the charter was put in place to ensure that we, once again, restricted that protection by ensuring that the county commission has the last decision on any development that take place out there. I do believe we have to strengthen it even more because at the end of the day, I know there was some communication and talks about transitional phasing, but even something like that, if we allow any type of piercing into the rural boundary, that may open up a floodgate. So my thought process is we definitely need to continue to protect the rural boundary and strengthen what we have. And one of my ideas is trying to get the board to agree upon a unanimous decision on any type of development that take place out there.
Yeah. You still have a little more time left if you'd like it.
No, not. I yield my time.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. The next candidate to speak will be Lee Constantine, Republican District 3. And again, Lee, I'll repeat the question for you. What does the rural boundary mean to you, and do you promise to uphold the rigid development standards currently in place for all lands within the rural boundary? If you disagree with the current requirements, what will you change? Lee, please.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having us all here today and putting this on. Certainly, there's a question that I don't, am I there? Certainly, there's no question that I would protect the rigid standards that you have implied as far as the development. But let's go a little bit further. The fact of the matter is that this is our culture. This is our heritage. And we in 2004 did vote strongly to protect that rural boundary. There is nothing in my being that would see where I could ever do anything but protect that rural boundary. And all you have to do is see what I have done. I have voted down the back in 2017 to the point that I called a good friend, Senator Tom Lee, who is chairman of the Committee of Community Affairs. He's the husband of the Secretary of State. It was his bill that was coming over from the House. We defeated it in the Senate, that 3-mile amendment. I held firm in the federal case. I've fought the Senate Bill 410. I fought the swap, and but make no mistake, this is not over. The project known as River Cross is just the tip of the spear. People want to get into the rural boundary for their purposes, to invest their land, to make money, but at the cost of our lifestyle. And I pledge 100%, as I have in the past, to protect the rural boundary.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate that very much. And the next candidate to answer this question would be Bob Dallari. I will repeat it again, just so we make sure we all remember what we're talking about. What does the rural boundary mean to you, and do you promise to uphold the rigid development standards currently in place for all land within the rural boundary? If you disagree with the current requirements, what would you change? Bob? Unmute him.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing us to be here tonight and putting this event on for not just us, but the viewers here tonight. I think it's important for the viewers to understand where we are and what we stand for. To answer the question directly, I believe that the rural boundary is not only the life of Seminole County, but the soul. And the reason why I say it's the soul of Seminole County is because the voters approved it overwhelmingly. We hear from the voters on a regular basis. And as one of your county commissioners, I've upheld their wishes time and time again when it comes to the rural boundary. There has been, as Commissioner Constantine said, there's been attacks to try to destroy the rural boundary. We have stood in front of those attacks, and I will defend it. I will defend the rural boundary as it is today. That is the voters' will, and it's very clear. The rural boundary is just not only important for the people that live in the rural boundary, it's important to people that live outside the rural boundary. I will tell you that it protects the quality of life in the urban area. It protects us, and people need to understand that the real boundary is for everyone. I'm an avid hiker. I see the beauty of nature. I see no better place to experience the beauty of nature than our backyards, which is Seminole County. We are the natural choice, Florida's natural choice. Make no mistakes. That's the reason why we have that slogan. I believe that slogan is what we should live for and live by. So I will defend the real boundary as it is stated today.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. And we will now, we don't have anybody else, Dorothy, that came in, do we? Okay, so we still have the same three gentlemen. We'll move on to the second question. And this question, the first one will be to, it'll be Pernell Bush, being that the other gentlemen aren't here yet. After living through the horror caused by the proposed swap of the Econ River Wilderness Area Preserve for the River Cross property, we want to ensure that this never happens again. If elected, will you support all efforts to ensure that all Seminole County parklands and natural areas remain forever in public ownership and in their undeveloped condition? Pernell, please.
Yes, I would definitely ensure that all natural lands and parks remain within the public ownership. To be honest, you know, at the end of the day, the things that we do here for our county is for the citizens that choose to live here. So for me, it is very important that our citizens have a choice about what we have in our natural lands, and not allow someone who's trying to come and make $1 off our county to come in and buy their way in. So at the end of the day, to keep it very simplistic, Richard, is I definitely will ensure that we do not have to relive or re-go through the traumatization of what we did with the River Cross project.
Okay, thank you, Pernell. Appreciate that. The next fellow to answer would be Lee Constantine. Lee, I'll repeat the question again. After living through the horror caused by the proposed swap of the Econ River Wilderness Area Preserve for the River Cross property, we want to ensure that this never happens again. If elected, will you support all efforts to ensure that all Seminole County parklands and natural areas remain forever in public ownership and in their undeveloped condition? Lee, please. Lee.
Absolutely, 100%. The fact of the matter is that at the time that the swap was going, we are, as we are today, in a federal lawsuit, and the applicant said, we just want to show you what we will do. But here's what really happened. The people spoke. I received 7,000 plus emails, all of them saying we will not abide by our natural lands being swapped to a developer to build, a project similar to River Cross. And then what happened? The developer came back and showed the true colors and was asking for the same thing as River Cross, but only on 200 acres. The people of Seminole County bought themselves by their own hard effort and work, the strength and the commitment of all five commissioners, not just me. That was the change that had to take place, that the citizens spoke. And I will tell you that not only do I believe, because it's in my heart and soul, not only do I believe that we should never, ever take out our natural lands, but I would support a charter amendment to ensure that through a supermajority vote, or whichever way the citizens of Seminole County feel that would be the right thing to do.
Okay, the next person to answer would be Bob. Bob, do you want me to repeat the question?
You don't need to repeat it, Richard. It's very clear. Trust is extremely important. The trust between the citizens and their elected officials are paramount. Transparency is paramount. I will tell you, Richard, that I think the public spoke very loud and clear during that time And when we asked the citizens to be a partner with us to buy or purchase property, it was a partnership between the county and the citizens of this great county. It's important that we uphold that trust. We should never break that trust. It's even more important that we protect their wishes. They actually voted to buy and tax themselves for those natural lands, for those park lands. It's their money. The key is we are supposed to be an instrument of them to hold what their wishes are. I would not want to ruin that trust. I would want to make sure that we strengthen that trust. I know that Commissioner Constantine said that he'd like to do a charter amendment for a supermajority. I'd rather do a charter amendment just to say it's either unanimous, or I'd like to speak to our attorneys to see what else we can do. I think we need to do everything we can to make sure that if the citizens entrust us with their money, which they do, to buy particular pieces of property, that we should uphold their wishes and uphold what they want us to do. And I would, in the future, make sure that that happens.
We're going to go back to Pernell now. Okay. We now go to question number 3. And this, we'll start out with Pernell again. And by the way, gentlemen, I appreciate the fact that you haven't used 3 minutes. We might have time to get out and get to a Dairy Queen tonight before it's over. The third
Richard, fine?
is for Pernell to start. Do you think that there should be transitional zoning at the actual rural boundary with gradually decreasing density from urban to rural A5 zoning classifications? If so, we believe that any transitional zoning should all happen on the urban side. Do you agree, Pernell?
So I do not believe there should be transitional zoning in the rural area. To me, any type of opportunity that will allow for development to take place in the rural area may open up a floodgate. So I know when we agreed, when the charter was first written, we talked about all development taking place on the west side of Seminole County. And I believe we need to start to really envision and really think about how we can do that. One thing that we need to think about, if we're talking about development, we need to think about doing development around for affordable housing around areas such as the 1792 corridor or near Sunrail, so affordable housing communities can have opportunity to have access to public transportation. So no, I don't believe we should utilize any type of transitional in the rural boundary, because I believe that's just going to allow opportunity for individuals such as the developer that has already sued our county to find other loopholes.
And now we will go the same question again to, oops, sorry about that.
Richard.
Yeah.
I know the question about the transitional boundary and transitional zoning.
Yeah.
And every fiber of my body tells me that, once again, as I talked about the tip of the spear, if we do not set hard and fast boundary lines, it's going to cause greater risk of what we hold so dear: our rural boundary, our culture, our heritage. And so I look at this and say, you know, we have cities, they're partly near that rural boundary, and that takes care of the urban development that is necessary in those regions of the county. We do not need to go any further into the rural boundary to do any transitional zoning. I've seen the effects, and many of you have heard me at the commission meetings fight some transitional zonings, because what they basically are saying is you're allowing more and more development into an area where the lifestyle has been one that the people felt comfortable and bought, knowing what the zoning was. And transitional zoning changes their lifestyle and harms their quality of life. And I don't see any reason for us to look at transitional zoning in the county's portion or any portion but we do not control the cities, but in the county portion of the rural boundary.
Next one is Bob. If you unmute him. Bob, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, sir. I understand the question.
Okay.
The rural boundary is special. It is the life, the heart, and the soul of Seminole County. It's about as clear as anybody can make it. We should not be allowing transitional zoning on the rural boundary side. There's been some problems there where cities have annexed property right up to the rural boundary. There's nothing we can do about it. But if there's going to be transition, it needs to be on the urban side, not the rural side. The problem with putting transitioning on the rural side is, where does it stop? And Commissioner Constantine is right. It is the tip of the spear. It is that domino effect. I will tell you that there's certain resources in the rural boundary that need to be protected. Richard, you live in around the Geneva area. You have the Geneva bubble. That Geneva bubble protects the urban area. The reason why it protects the urban area is because it stops the intrusion of salt from the coast, salt water from the coast. There are so many things about the rural area that protects the urban area. So we have to leave the rural area intact as is and leave it alone. Any type of development that is urbanized needs to be in the urban corridor. I think Pernell talked about that a little bit. I'm not going to talk about development in the urban area because that's not your question. But your question is very simple. Transitional area or transitional zoning should be on the urban area, not the rural area. That's the reason why there's a line. You can't tell someone, well, we're going to go over the line just a little bit. No, you either stay on our side of the line or you're not. So I would enforce the rural area as it states today.
Am I on? Okay. Being that the other three gentlemen still aren't here, we're now allowing everybody to make a 2-minute closing statement. And you can, refute anything that was said by any of the other candidates, or, just tell us why you think that you should be elected to the position and why we should support you. I must just editorialize a little bit that it's convenient that we had 3 gentlemen that showed up tonight, 1 from each of the 3 districts in question. So as far as the rural area is concerned, the 3 gentlemen that showed up are the ones who have shown enough care and concern that deserve our considered support, I think, in this primary election. So with that being said, if I can get my machine to shut off here, okay. We'll now go into the closing statements, and the first one would be, Pernell, you have 2 minutes to talk about anything that you would like to talk about, but especially if it pertains to the rural area, I think that would be more pertinent. Pernell, please.
To be honest, I'm here because I'm here to earn your vote, to earn your trust, to understand that I'm going to be someone that's going to stand firm on my beliefs and stand firm for what the citizens desire here in Seminole County. I'm someone that's going to always ensure that before we do anything in the county commission from my position, to ensure that I have the citizens' voice, that I listen and reach out for the citizens' voice and input. So me as an individual, as a United States Marine, honor, courage, commitment is our values, and I'm going to bring those same values to the Board of County Commission. So I just continue to look forward to working with you all, and hopefully one day I can be your representative. Please go out and vote on August 18th for Pernell Bush.
Appreciate that very much. The next closing statement would be by Lee Constantine. Lee, you have 2 minutes, please.
And once again, thank you very much for everybody having this forum. It's difficult to get to the voters and get to the citizens during this pandemic. So I think we should take every opportunity to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am passionate about Seminole County. I have lived here since I've been 4 years old. I love this community. And the rural boundary is, as Bob said, and he's heard me say it many times, is the heart and soul of Seminole County. We're at a crossroads here. That crossroads is that we will continue in many cases to develop, build shopping center, strip mall, which I have fought time and time again, or we will protect our future and continue to be, as Stacker has said, and I don't know if you all saw this, but a rating system for the entire United States just named Seminole County the #1 place to live in all of Florida and to raise a family. And that's what I want to continue to do. I want to continue to give our citizens the quality of life that they so deserve. They've invested their family, their future, their fortunes into this community. And I will fight every single day to protect that quality of life throughout the county, whether it be the rural boundary or within the 7 unique and beautiful cities or the rest of unincorporated Seminole County. And again, I'm asking for your vote because this is the crossroads of Seminole County. We can go and unfortunately allow people who have the ear of the developer and change the whole future of Seminole County, or we can go and continue and try and move to protect our quality of life and maintain what is best of Florida's natural choice.
Thank you very much, Lee. And the last closing statement would be by Commissioner Dallari. You have 2 minutes, Bob, to answer anything else that was said or give you a vision for the future of the county and especially pertaining to the rural area. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. And again, thank you for everyone allowing us to be here today to speak to you. As Commissioner Constantine said, it's very difficult for us to get out and get our message across. So I appreciate the opportunity to do this evening. I want to thank you all for hosting us. It's about trust. It's about transparency. It's about dependability. It's about reliability. You know, as a county commissioner, I can tell you that there needs to be transparency, and I believe I've showed that. You need to have the right amount of, you need to have trust. The public needs to trust that you can make the right decision on their behalf. You have to be able to listen to people. I've been listening, not just to you here tonight, but to the voters and the citizens over the past years that I've served. You need to be empathetic so that you can actually try to put yourself in their shoes so you can try to understand what their issues are, and then you take the information that you get to try to make the best decision at that time. I've lived in Seminole County for plus 30 years. I've lived in a major city prior to that. Make no mistake, I'm sure you can tell by my Southern accent that I'm from Southern New York. And I chose Seminole County. The reason why I chose Seminole County, because it is Florida's natural choice. I know what it is to live in a major city or in a city. And that's not where I chose to live, nor do I want to live there. But I don't want Seminole County to become that major city or that urban area. The citizens entrusted us, the county commissioners, with the urban area because it's what the citizens wanted. It's important that they can trust us to make sure that what they decided in 2004, that we're going to uphold, that we're going to have transparency, and we're going to be reliable to uphold what their wills are. I don't want to put concrete and asphalt over all of Seminole County. It needs to be in the urban areas. But in those urban areas, they shouldn't be upzoned to the point that they're maxed out. Just because you own a piece of property, you shouldn't have to be given the ability to maximize your density. It's what makes sense. But getting back to the urban area, and the rural area, we need to make sure that Seminole County remains special. We need to make sure that our families and our children have a place to grow, a place to see the environment, a place to understand what nature is. I've hiked all around the world, and I can tell you some of the best hiking we have is in and around Lake Harney in the urban area, in the rural area. So as we move forward, not only will I protect and defend the rural area, but I'll also protect
Your time is up.
So this August the 18th, I'd like to have you, I'm asking you for your vote and your support, Bob Dallari. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. But I want to thank you all for taking the time to come tonight, and I'm disappointed that the other three gentlemen didn't come. But to those that will be looking at this on YouTube, we are recording it, and we will be sending it out to our constituents to be able to listen to it. It makes it pretty easy if you're a rural person and you had three people running in three elections, and only one showed up for each one of the districts, about who cares more about the rural area. So again, I also want to repeat that we will be having another virtual candidates forum late September, early October, after we find out when the mail ballots for the general election will be going out. We will try to have it as near possible as that date, so people will have a chance, if they want to mail their ballots in early, to hear all the candidates. This would include the ones who would win the primary, and any NPA candidates that would qualify as well. So on behalf of the Geneva Citizens Association, Save Rural Seminole, and the Black Hammock Association, I'd like to thank you three gentlemen for taking the time out of your busy schedule to visit with us tonight. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.